So if the president vetoes the bill for whatever reason, he returns it with his objections, and the objections will be entered into the Journal of the House, which the bill originated in. Then the House can exercise a check and balance. It can reconsider the bill, and if it thinks the president was wrong, if they can muster 2/3 of the membership of the House or the Senate, and that's like herding cats, really, they can override the veto and make it law, as though the president had signed it. All votes of both houses will be determined by yeas and nays. The names of people voting for and against the bill will be entered into the journal of each house. Self-explanatory, I think. If any bill shall not be returned by the president within 10 days, this got me Sundays accepted, that this was kept after all this time. After it shall have been presented to him, the same shall be a law, in like manner as if he had signed it, unless the Congress by their adjournment prevent its return, in which case it shall not be a law. So if the Congress is in session, okay, 10 days, Sundays accepted. But if they go on a recess, all right, and the president has had a bill for 3 days and can't make up his mind whether or not to sign it, the clock is paused on day 3. And when Congress is back in the session, then we go day 4, 5, 6. Presidents can use this quite effectively. If there's a law, maybe, that the president knows is the right thing, but doesn't want to sign it either because it'll be unpopular with his political base or go against his beliefs or, whatever, he can put it in a drawer on the Resolute desk and just kind of forget about it. And when the clock runs out, oh, forgot about that one. So every order, resolution, or vote to which the concurrence of the Senate and House of Representatives may be necessary, except on a question of adjournment, shall be presented to the President of the United States. Again, check and balance. And before the same shall take effect, shall be approved by him, or being disapproved by him, shall be repassed by 2/3 of the Senate and House of Representatives, according to the rules and limitations prescribed in the case of a bill. So the president is in on most of what Congress is doing, except adjournments, and he has to agree. All right. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States, but all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. So what Delaware pays, Illinois pays, California pays. So the Congress has the power to do quite a lot, and I list everything that's in the Constitution. I'm not going to read all of it because that would be incredibly boring and would get you to click off when I need you to stay with me beyond this. So we're just going to talk about a few of these things, like to borrow money on the credit of the United States. We're in the tens of trillions of dollars in debt at this point. To establish post offices and post roads. This is a common one that is missed on the federalism assignments. It is a federal power to establish post offices, to constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to provide and maintain a Navy, an Army, an Air Force, the Marines, the Space Force, all this stuff now, to declare war, which is something that presidents wish we would forget about, that Congress has that power, to provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States. So it's up to Congress. Congress has the power of the purse. Congress can have a lot of say as to what gets funded and what doesn't. To make all laws which shall be necessary and proper. This is the necessary and proper clause. for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department or officer thereof. So the founders, you can make laws that will allow you to do the things that we've laid out. No title of nobility. We don't do that here. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office or profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept of any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. So honorary stuff, I mean, it is okay. So like Michael Bloomberg, who was a former presidential candidate, former mayor of New York, he was knighted by the late Queen Elizabeth for his prodigious entrepreneurial and philanthropic endeavors. So he can't be called Sir Michael. We don't do that here, but he can add KBE, Knight of the British Empire, after his name if he so desires. I haven't looked into whether or not he does that, but he has that right. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal. And I believe I've talked about this, but if I haven't, when we didn't have a navy, the Congress would issue these, allowing basically any ship that could carry a cannon or two to load those cannons and go hunting for whoever the enemy was at the time, the British, the Spaniards, whoever. Coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver, coin a tender in payment of debts. That used to be a thing too, the gold standard. Pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, ex post facto meaning after the fact. So I can't rob a convenience store. It not be illegal for me to rob a convenience store, and then somebody passes a law and they throw me in prison. Or law impairing the obligation of contracts or grant any title of nobility. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any imposts or duties or on imports or exports, except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inspection laws. And no state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state or with a foreign power or engage in war unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. So, I mean, the founders didn't have any problem with the nation, the states that made up the nation, defending themselves if they were attacked and the federal government was going to take a minute or another state was organizing a militia. Then, yes, please defend yourself. Nobody had any problem and still doesn't have any problem with that. So, that is it on Congress. So thanks for sticking with me. And reach out if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.